Hello and welcome to Joyful, the podcast that will help you live a more joyful life. I'm your host, Chloe Markham, and it's my mission to help you find more joy every single day. This podcast is a deep dive into ways to reduce your stress, your overwhelm, anxiety, and that voice in your head that tells you you're not good enough, whilst also diving into the methods, philosophies, and protocols that help us live more connected, grounded, and ultimately happier lives. This is about living life on purpose. Without any further ado, let's dive into today's episode. Hello, friend. How are you? Welcome back to the pod. I don't know if you heard that little extra sound there. That was my dog friend Dusty doing a little extra hello. I am so tired. You could see it in my face, I think. I'm exhausted. So the last couple of eps I've been in Bath. I'm now in London and I'm excited to go home soon. But yeah, it's so interesting. Before we dive in, take a big breath in. Hold it at the top. Any tension in your jaw, shoulders, forehead, hands, belly, sigh it out. Sigh it out. Do that again. And this time, give yourself a little wiggle, some place that needs a wiggle. Give yourself a hand on the heart, a hug, whatever. And sigh tension out. Arrive with me here, baby. Arrive. Life isn't always easy, but it is when we show up. It isn't, I don't mean that, but it's easier when we show up for ourselves, right? Life is easier when we show up for ourselves. And so, yeah, I've been out of my routines. I want to talk about something actually that I've been writing about in my emails. So if you haven't already joined my Joy Collective, you can do that. I'll leave a link in the notes of this app, or find it anywhere on theyogarevolution.co.uk. But habits, man. Habits are such a fascinating thing. I have really struggled. I think, actually, a bit of a confession, I'm like a habit gremlin. I stack habits because that's how I feel, perhaps enough, I'm not sure. There's a whole kind of raft of shit to take to my therapist with that. But it's funny because I didn't contemplate or consider, really, my habits when I came away. So I've been away for 5 weeks now, away from home. I was dog sitting in Bath for 4 weeks, and I've been in London now at my boyfriend's place for a little while. And I mean, it's been great. It's been great. I have learnt a lot about myself. And it's interesting, this habit thing, because I think, I don't know if you're like me, but there's this idea that the more kind of positive habits you have, the better. Get them in, stack them, baby. Like, throw habits in every corner of your life, because that is how we stay sane. And then, but when we're thrown into a situation, maybe you're on holiday, or you're visiting somebody, or life happens and it gets a little crazy, or you get sick, our habits obviously slip, because it's really difficult to maintain these kind of things all the time, every single day. And then comes the really hard process of saying, fuck, I am out of balance here. I need to rebalance myself and start doing all of these habits again. And that can be a really challenging process. And I think that part as well, where you're out of balance, for me, I know that I feel like I'm not good enough, I'm not trying hard enough, that my health and I suppose mental health will be slipping, if you don't keep up your habits. And by habits, I'm talking about all the things, if you've listened to this podcast, you know I'm a big advocate for a good morning routine. And look, habits are so wonderful. Yes, and I will die on that hill, baby. But I think there's a balance that I'm learning. And it's so funny because I didn't even want to talk about this on this pod today. But it's so funny because my boyfriend, who's an actor, you know how that is. I mean, maybe you don't, but it's a really challenging industry. Like, it's nearly 5 p.m. and he's just going to work now, and he won't be back till about 10 p.m. It's just random. Any day can be anything, right? It's crazy. So, but also he leans into the absolute lack of habits. Almost zero habits. I'm talking almost zero. Apart from a really strong coffee in the morning. And what's fascinating about it is that I'm forced, by being with him, to really evaluate, my habits. And when I'm with him, it's like, do I want to meditate in the morning? Does this make a real difference to me? And does my journaling really mean a lot? Because it's normally, or it's in question, isn't it? But likewise with him, he said to me, when we're hanging out and we're spending time together, because we're doing it, we're in long distance thing. Yeah, it's positively impacting him because he's forced to kind of create some sort of structure and go to bed earlier and all of these things. So I don't have an answer for you, my friend, I don't think. I'm just curious what you think about it. Yeah. You are enough, even when your habits slip. I feel like I'm just talking to myself here. We are enough, even when we don't manage our morning routines. And I say this a lot in my membership, the Yoga Revolution. I have things like a 30-day yoga challenge, 30-day meditation challenge. And I just want to remind you, it's okay if that 30-day challenge takes you 40 days or 50 days or whenever, It's a funny quirk of our behaviour that we give up, right? As soon as we fail, quote unquote fail, we give up. Yeah, interesting. So I suppose I'm learning that. I don't know. Days don't have to be shit when you don't meditate or journal in the morning. Interesting, isn't it? Maybe we can just be conscious of not doing our morning routine and then just get back on it tomorrow or when I get home. And also, I'm learning that maybe I'm the kind of person that really likes some structure in my life and thrives a little bit off. Maybe I'm fucking boring. Maybe that's the conclusion I'm coming to. Are you too? Are you thinking that about me, or are you like me? I don't know, but yeah, interesting. Anyway, I actually wanted to talk about something completely different, but not really. I've been talking so much and writing so much about joy and happiness. There's been a definite shift in the way that I'm, I suppose, talking about my business lately. Yoga is amazing and wonderful, and practice with me because it's a different kind of feeling when you do. And that's me bigging myself up, I know. But hey, if anyone's gonna toot my trumpet, it's gonna be me. I don't know, that sounds awful. You know what I mean? No. Yoga is a really wonderful thing. Come and practice with me. If you've never practiced with me before, send me an email, chloe@theyogarevolution.co.uk, and I will set you up with some free stuff. Because it's different to kind of place your foot here and breathe and place your leg there and your hand and do this and that. And it's just do this, then that. Yoga is very different to, hey, let's see if we can better your entire week kind of yoga, which is what I do. Anyway, my point being, my business has shifted from this kind of yoga focus, wonderful and brilliant, to a more kind of holistic focus. How can we be happier and more joyful? Because that truly is what I'm here for and what I want to experiment in and support people in their journeys towards, right? So it's been front of mind a lot more lately, and there's one particular thing that I've been doing with the chaos of being away from home and, not in my normal environments. And obviously, like I've just kind of talked about the kind of struggle that I've had with that a little bit. And it's a simple question that can just, oh my God, release all that tension in your shoulders. I'm going to ask it in a sec, but I want to big it up slightly because it does release physical tension, and suddenly you're in the present and you're like, oh yeah, this is nice, here's some perspective. And then when we're in that place, the kind of ripple effects from that are big. You know, we listen to our people more, we're more empathic, we're more creative and better problem solvers, and it's a wonderful place to be. That's what we want. And the way to get there right here and now is just to ask yourself, how can I enjoy this a bit more? That is it. How can I enjoy this a bit more? Because I love, and I spoke about this the last episode, I think, the concept that you are inherently joyful, but life has just layered on all of this shit, all this emotional baggage and crap and trauma, unprocessed stuff, unconscious stuff on the top of it. And it's like we have to rustle around a bit to find the baseline of being and feeling joy. So it's not a place we have to get to. It's not a struggle to get there. It's here right now when you're doing the dishes, or I say that a lot because I hate doing the dishes. Seriously, I miss my dishwasher so much. Or like walking your dog or doing a chore that you're a little bit mindless in. Even watching the TV. I've been watching Married at First Sight lately, and oh my God. I mean, yes, judge me. That's fine. You can judge me, as my boyfriend did, until I said, come on, just watch an episode with me. And he did. And now he's like, hey, Chloe, can we watch the reunion this week? So if I can convince him, I can convince you. It's such wonderful, ridiculous telly, but also wonderful from a place of, aren't relationships fascinating? Aren't human beings and their traumas and histories and the way they approach things fascinating? Point being, can we sit and watch it and ask ourselves, how can I enjoy this a bit more? Right now, whatever you're doing, it doesn't matter what you're doing, how can you enjoy this moment a bit more? What happens in your body? How can you enjoy this moment a bit more? What happens in your head? What do you do? What's like a reflex that comes from that question? For me, my shoulders just drop, and my jaw has all this tension in it, and it just suddenly kind of melts a bit more. And I feel I'm sitting on a sofa right now. I feel like I'm squishing into it, like I'm heavier. I'm releasing against gravity a bit more. I feel heavier and calmer and presenter. I feel presenter. That's a word. But it's nice. And it's important, I think, that we do this more often because we're constantly striving, especially as women, well, everybody, but I definitely speak to being 30-something, 40, 50-something woman, you know, who takes the world on her shoulders. Girl, you gotta stop. People-pleasing, overachieving, being a perfectionist. It's okay to be these things. I think we're taught to be these things. Society teaches us, especially as women, and I'm not... I am stereotyping, aren't I, hugely? And I don't mean to, really, but I'm such a feminist. Like, I see it so often that we're taught to shoulder all of it and care for everybody and suck it up and put everybody else's needs in front of ours because that's what's important. And you're a bad person if you don't, and you're a bad person if you say no, and if you have boundaries and all of this. And I'm here to tell you that you're not a bad person. It's important that you do set boundaries, right? But really, my focus right here is to remind you that it's important to sit and enjoy this stuff, whatever this stuff is. Enjoy it a bit more. Are you cleaning your bathroom? How can you enjoy it a bit more? And it can be very tangible things too. Like for me, when I'm doing a chore, like the dishes that I hate, putting on some Fleetwood Mac or like a fun podcast, hey, or I don't know, just some crap that makes me dance around the kitchen. That makes me enjoy things a bit more. But also it's this very kind of baseline, foundational human experience of being alive. Can you feel, yes, Dust, can you feel your breath? Can you feel the air on your skin? Your butt on a sofa, your feet on the ground. What is it like to be a human right now? And it's so funny because this is so often my question in yoga classes. When we're on the yoga mat and we're doing a triangle pose, I'm like, all right, that's a very easy thing to ask in a triangle pose or any pose. But let's say triangle, it's like, how can you enjoy triangle pose a bit more? What can you do to find the goodness? What can you do to make it feel better? And it's like, oh yeah, okay, I can do this. I can maybe reach my hand a little higher, press my head a little more forward. Maybe I'm going to back out actually because I got a weird thing in my knee, or like maybe I want to go deeper today. I'm feeling open. So I'm going to, oh yeah, there's the good stuff. Oh my God, yes, baby, that's it. Hold it and breathe, pause and breathe, feel and breathe. And that's a very tangible result in a yoga class, but I think all of this stuff, I mean, yoga is a philosophy, right? Yoga asana, the movement, is one aspect to it, but there's so much more to it. And I interpret it as, and it's this Shangri-La, right? This spiritual Shangri-La that we're supposed to find. That's not the way I see it. I think, you know, you and I, we're going to die pretty soon, geologically speaking. Like in the next couple seconds, if we think about the world in geological terms, you know, with every, I don't know what it is, I'm going to fuck this up, but every millennium is like half an hour. I don't know. But you know what I'm saying? Like our lifespans are so short and so finite, and our impact is probably quite small. You know, I'm such a fatalist. I just think social media and climate change and, you know, fucking bigotry and racism and homophobia and wars and politics. We're doomed, right? We're fucking doomed. So dance in your kitchen, man. Like, we're not going to be here for much longer. Life is hard. Life is fucking hard. What can you do to enjoy it a bit more? And all these lessons that we have on our yoga mat, how wonderful is it to start to see them leaking out into our everyday? And I think, as I spoke about at the beginning, ultimately it's about being kinder to ourselves with my habits, right? Just giving myself a break. Hey, man, I'm not going to get like, I don't know, what's my fear? What's my fear? That I'm going to get depression maybe, or lose the people I love. It makes me quite emotional. Or like I'm going to become unworthy if I don't practice these habits. It's such an irrational, all of those things, aren't they ridiculous? When I speak them out loud, I know they're ridiculous. I don't know. It's a funny one. It's a funny one. But let's be kind to ourselves. Notice the irrationalities of our quirks, the way we live our lives. Yeah. Give ourselves a hug often. I think that's the way forward. I have dishes to wash, man. I don't want to do it. Do you want to come over and help me? I love dishwashers so much. I know I'm ridiculous. Yes, I'm a princess. And look, if I was born 100 years ago, I'd be gone. My dad talks about, he was born in Leeds, right? And he talks about all the time. There was like 6 kids to a bed. They had a shared privy, an outside toilet, a wooden little hut with a drop into something horrific that they shared with like 4 houses. And then every week, I don't know, there was a fucking horse and cart that would shovel the privy stuff away. It's like that's his toilet situation. And he tells me this, and he's 77, and I'm like, yikes. I mean, humans are resilient, but put me in that time now, I would not survive. I think about that with zombie apocalypses too, right? Like, just kill me now. Let's just get this over with. There's no Walking Dead for me. I'm not one of those survivors. I feel like I would just be done. Anyway, think of that what you will. And thanks for tuning into this. I'm gonna go listen to some tunes and conquer this washing up. And do you know what else? I think there's a cream egg in the cupboard. So that is the next few minutes planned for me. I hope this has resonated in some way. Let me know. Email me, chloe@theyogarevolution.co.uk. Make sure to join my Joy Collective. Emails of goodness and little missions for you to do to help you get some joy in your life, more joy in your life. And there's some free yoga classes and whatnot I share on there too. And if you're interested in joining me, come into my world. The Yoga Revolution is my membership. It's getting bigger and wider and broader all the time, where yoga's such a huge part of it. But also this yogic philosophy where we become more mindful and kinder and more resilient. It's wonderful. Join me there. Find all of this stuff within and on the website, theyogarevolution.co.uk. With all that in mind, the cream egg isn't going to eat itself. Later, friend. I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for listening, my friend. I hope you're feeling sparkly and inspired to live a more joyful life. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a rating. These things are invaluable to me, and share it with people who need it. This is about inspiring more people to be more connected and lead happier and more joyful lives. Join my inner circle for more inspiration. Learn more at the website theyogarevolution.co.uk and chloemarkham.co.uk. I'll see you in the next episode.